When Japanese people are asked their religion, 70% of them say no religion, but they often visit shrines and temples, pray to gods, and enjoy many religious events all year long. After enjoying Christmas and New Year's Eve, we go to temples and listen to the ringing of the New Year's bell. And in the new year, we do something called Hatsumode, the first visit of the year to a shrine. We have our wedding ceremonies in chapels, and our funerals are Buddhist ceremonies. Our Japanese life is strongly connected to religion, but why we Japanese say they are irreligious? So today, I'll talk about it. After watching this video, you'll understand why many Japanese people think they are irreligious. Meshida jokes about Japan. Hey guys, it's Meshida. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm a comedian and I introduce funny Japanese culture. If you are interested in that, please subscribe to my channel and please check out my Patreon page, podcast and other YouTube channels too. And I'm organizing my solo stand-up comedy shows in Tokyo. If you want to watch my solo show, please check out the link below. Meshida. According to a report by the Agency for Cultural Affairs, in 2021, in Japan, there were 87,920,000 Shintoists and 84,700,000 Buddhists, including other religions. The number of religious believers is almost 181,140,000. This is more than the Japanese population of 125,700,000. So, it means more than 40% of Japanese people are cheating on their religion with another religion. But this is still lower than the rate of cheating in Japan. In Japan, we respect freedom of religion and our government doesn't control religious groups strictly. So, religious groups can count their believers in their own way. Before, our religious believers reached 200 million or 2 times the population. Some religious groups count people as believers even if they only come once to an event as a trial. You could say that Japan's religious believers are counted the same way as Amazon Prime members. By the way, in Japan, we have 81,000 shrines and 77,000 temples, and the number of famous chain convenience stores is 51,000. Shrines and temples exist in more convenient places than convenience stores for foreigners. Even though there are many shrines and temples in Japan, and many Japanese people visit and pray at them, the fact they deny that they are believers is so strange. It's like people who say they like coffee but drink at Starbucks. Hey guys, thank you very much for watching this video. If you like this video, please give me super thanks. It helps me a lot. Thank you. Meshida. There are many kinds of surveys. Usually, 70% of Japanese people say they don't have a religion, but 75% of them think religion is important. In short, many Japanese people think they personally don't have a religion, but religious mind is important. So, for Japanese, no religion means they are not a believer of a specific religious group. It doesn't mean atheist. We cannot believe in one God forever. The same as married life. For us, it's impossible to spend time with one partner forever. We need some partners or fuck buddies. The author of the book that I referenced said, if you want to analyze the Japanese religious mind, you should divide up religions into standard religions and nature religions. What we Japanese call standard religions are those that have a founder, scripture, and believers. For example, Christianity, Islam, and Buddhism. And cults are also included as religions. Recently, many suspicious cults became popular in Japan. So, for some Japanese, if they hear the word religion, it brings up the image of a cult. That's why, to avoid being misunderstood, many Japanese people say they are not religious. It means, I'm not in a crazy cult, I am a normal person. On the other hand, nature religions don't have a founders or scripture. They occur spontaneously and have been inherited from our ancestors. This is, for example, a respect for one's ancestors and their local gods who protect them. It says that Japanese Shinto was created based on a nature religion. Since way back, in Japan, nature religions have been deep-rooted. They had many events every year and it became part of their daily life. One of the reasons why Japanese people say they are non-religious is that we think the religious manners and customs that became part of our daily life are not religious. You could say that it becomes a habit. So nowadays, many Japanese people have a habit of going to a shrine or temple and throwing coins and gambling whether they can get good luck or not. For them, shrines and temples are sacred casino.
Meshida.
Before, the only religion in Japan was Shinto. Almost 1,500 years ago, Buddhism was brought to Japan from China. The Japanese governor decided to use Buddhism to govern the country and explained to Japanese people that Buddhist gods fused with Shinto's gods, like Goten and Trunks in Dragon Ball. Japanese people say, "Are you crazy? That's so cool." So we accepted the synthesis of Buddhism and Shinto. And people pray to Shinto gods for good luck in this world and pray to Buddhist Buddha for happiness in the afterlife. To avoid the conflict between Shinto and Buddhism, Japanese people give them separate walls. In medieval Japan, people believed in both God and Buddha. Especially, people believed in Rokudo reincarnation, a belief that every life repeats reincarnation into 6 different realms. This is based on Buddhism, and people were afraid of reincarnating into a lower world. So they prayed to Buddha and asked help for the afterlife. In this situation, the Jodo sect created by Honen became very popular. It said, even if you don't do tough ascetic training and remember complicated sutra, if you repeat Namu Amida Butsu or pray to Amida Buddha, you can go to heaven and be liberated from reincarnation. As a result, many Japanese were crazy about it, and instead of doing hard training, they just repeated Namu Amida Butsu and tried to go to heaven. The founder of Buddhism, Siddhartha Gautama, who trained hard for 6 years and achieved enlightenment, he must be disappointed because many Japanese people got into heaven without training and instead just repeated Namu Amida Butsu. He might have a thought, what was the point of my training?
Meshida.
Confucianism changed the Japanese samurai mind in medieval Japan. Confucianism came from China and it said that living with the 5 Confucian virtues is very important. It said if you live with these 5 Confucian virtues, God and Buddha will help people. So even if you don't pray to gods, if you practice this morality, you are okay. Then this Confucianism spread to rich merchants and rich farmers too. And the people started not being interested in believing specific beliefs, but thought how to live is more important than praying. And even if they don't live its morality, if they say Namu Amida Butsu, they go to heaven. You could say that they have a Namu Amida Butsu insurance.
Meshida.
In the Edo period, to prohibit Christianity from spreading in Japan, the Edo shogunate instituted the terauke system that required citizens to register with a temple in order to prove their non-Christian faith. This started the tradition that usually we are not believers of Buddhism, but after death, we suddenly become Buddhist. Among Japanese, we unconsciously believe in nature religions. So, we can accept the funeral rites of Buddhism, but we cannot be a believer of Buddhism. Buddhism for funerals is confused between natural religion and Buddhism. And we gradually came to believe that after doing funerals in a Buddhist way, the dead people became Buddha and so called dead people Buddha. The founder of Buddhism, Siddhartha Gautama, must be so disappointed and said, "It seems all my effort was for nothing."
Meshida.
In the Meiji era, the Japanese government tried to make a strong country so as not to invade it by Western countries. So, to govern the country, they made the emperor the sovereign ruler, and to prove that they used Shinto's mythology and emphasized that our emperor's ancestors was a Shinto's goddess. Some Japanese tried to make Shinto the state religion, but at that time, Western countries asked us to admit Christian missionary work in Japan, or otherwise they wouldn't change unequal treaties that we had before. So we needed to accept freedom of religion. Also, some big Buddhism groups were against Shinto becoming the national religion. Instead, the Japanese government came up with the idea that Shinto is not a religion, it's a national ritual, and they call shrines the place they organize these national rituals. Japan created state Shinto that worships the emperor, but it's not a religion. Japan was governed by an emperor whose ancestor was a goddess, but it's not religious. From the point of view of now, Japan seemed to become a cult group. The Japanese government started governing the country a different way using Shinto. They admire Amaterasu, who is the main goddess of Shinto, and created a new shrine hierarchy that Ise Grand Shrine at the top. And they chose 2,000 shrines as worshipping true gods out of 11,000 shrines. So the other shrines seemed to be worshipping fake gods. At that time, the Japanese government was more strict than Elon Musk. And they started a new policy, separation of Shintoism and Buddhism, to govern Japan using state Shinto and to weaken Buddhism's influence. But unfortunately, this policy didn't succeed, and as a result, many historical and traditional temples disappeared in Japan. Japanese Buddhism was chaotic, the same as Twitter.
Meshida.
In the Meiji era, Japan tried to westernize our country to become a developed country. So, under the affection of Western culture, among Japanese intellectuals, a view of religion that was modeled on Christianity became popular, and as a result, they think of religion as having a founder, a doctrine, and being organized by an organization. So, they considered nature religions as not religion. Now, in Japanese, we translate religion as shūkyō, but this is a new expression. When Western country oppressed us to admit Christianity, we needed to deal with religion. So we used the word shūkyō to refer to these new religions, but not nature religions. To put it simply, in Japan, shūkyō means to be brainwashed by outside pressure. Famous Japanese novelist Shusaku Endo's book Chinmoku or Silent became a movie that was directed by Martin Scorsese. In the movie, foreign missionaries gave up propagating Christianity in Japan and said, "This country is a swamp of religion. No plants can grow. They will start spoiling." In fact, historically, many Christian missionaries came to Japan and did their best. As a result, now in Japan, Christianity is for wedding ceremonies and Christmas. And here, Christmas is not a church event. It's a day couples make love.
Meshida.
Thank you very much for watching this video. If you liked this video, please like and subscribe to my channel. And please check out my Patreon, podcast, and other YouTube channels too. So see you soon. Bye bye.